quick question. Did Netflix pretend to cancel one of their shows? I think by the end of this video, you'll agree that it's possible that Netflix is pulling off one of the craziest curveballs in television history. And there are new developments being made about this on a daily basis, so I'm worried about taking too long making this video, so I'm gonna get going. But first, I need to give you some backstory for everything to make sense. It's the year 2016. There's this show that just premiered on Netflix with hardly any marketing beforehand. It's just dropped on the homepage, Beyonce style. It's called The OA. You may have seen it, or maybe you haven't. I think everything in this video will be super interesting to you either way. The series starts 7 years after a blind girl goes missing, when she shows back up out of nowhere and she's not blind anymore. That's the premise in the beginning, but by the 4th episode, I am being taken on a journey through time and space, and I'm honestly wondering if I'm having a spiritual awakening. This show gave me the most audible gasps per episode of anything I've ever watched. We're talking a possible 3-to-1 gasp per episode ratio here, folks. After the first season premieres, the second season doesn't drop until 2019. 800 days later. For reference, Game of Thrones fans were crying about a 600-day wait for the final season. But in contrast to Game of Thrones, the new season of The OA was worth the goddamn wait. That 3-to-1 gasp per episode ratio holds strong. And then it leaves us with a cliffhanger. So cliffhangy. Nothing could have prepared me for the ending of season 2. But this is not about how great the show is. Or should I say, how great the show was. About a month after the second season premieres, show creators Brit Marling and Zalbat Monglich announced that Netflix has canceled The OA. It's obviously a massive shock to the fan base, but Netflix does have a reputation of canceling shows before the stories are done being told. And the unceremonious conclusion of this series is actually where this investigation begins. I will hit you with the spoiler tag right now before I go any further. There is reason to believe that the cancellation of the show The OA could actually perfectly fit into the continuation of the story, The OA. Please, I asked you to stay with me. I will explain. There's a scientist, Hap, who is on a quest to discover where we go when we die. So he gathers 5 people who each have had near-death experiences, or NDEs, and holds them captive to do experiments on them, essentially killing them, recording what happens, then bringing them back to life. This is where Prairie, aka The OA, has been for the last 7 years. During these NDEs, each one of them seems to visit the afterlife. What they discover, though, is more than an afterlife, but the existence of the multiverse as well. And by performing 5 movements, they can open an invisible river that will take them to new dimensions. So then the second season ends with about as meta of a twist as you could ever get, with several of the characters jumping into a dimension that we are all very familiar with. Our own. This one. Our universe. This. The one where The OA is a Netflix series created by Brit Marling and Zalbat Monglich, starring Brit Marling as The OA and Jason Isaacs as Hap. In the closing moments of the season, they are on the film set itself for The OA. Are you still with me? This twist ending basically brings the storyline into the real world and then leaves us in a state of purgatory as we wait for the show to continue, but it never does because it's canceled. Brutal! The whole world goes crazy. Well, maybe not the whole world, but a lot of avid fans are very upset about this, and they take to the streets. They perform the 5 movements. There's a hashtag Save the OA social media campaign that has still been going on to this day. A woman even goes on a hunger strike in front of Netflix's headquarters. This is where the theory starts, because if the story now takes place in the real world, then isn't all of this part of the story too? Wouldn't it make sense, story-wise, that in this dimension, a means for Hap to remain in control of The OA, who is Brit, would be for her to not know she's actually The OA and believe The OA is just a fictional character she plays? It's an interesting take, but I know it's not enough by itself to believe that the show isn't actually canceled. A reoccurring plot in The OA involves characters asking others to believe in things that seem impossible. Wouldn't that match the real-life scenario of a fan base holding on hope for their show to continue on after they're told that it won't? First off, we have to ask the question, why? Why would Netflix even greenlight such a weird idea? Well, according to an interview with Brit Marling in 2017, she discusses how the idea to market season 1 of The OA in an unorthodox way was actually Netflix's idea.
everybody at Netflix was really on board for that, and they actually came up with the strategy. They were like, well, to protect the integrity of the mystery and how fun it is to be inside it, what if we just really don't give the audience anything and let them come to it on their own?
Sounds to me like Netflix was not only willing to break a lot of marketing norms for this show, but the idea of breaking those norms came from Netflix themselves. But most of this theory is actually rooted in reality. Zal's Instagram account has been a point of interest, to say the least. A while back on his Instagram story, Zal was asked if he could see a future in which he'd ever be able to continue the OA. And he says, quote unquote, "I do, but I think time has to pass. A new storm needs to brew." This year, he posts on his Instagram a video of a storm with no context. Storms have been used in several online correspondence between cast members, some even before season 1 premiered. And in the show, when the OA jumps into our dimension, what's going on outside? There's a storm. What the hell is going on here? Zal's Instagram page gets even more interesting in May of this year when he archived a ton of his photos, leaving his new post count at 37. There's something weird that's been going on with the number 37 when it comes to this series. In season 2, Old Knight, the octopus, kills the OA for 37 seconds to briefly bring her to a dimension where she can see her true face, aka Brit Marling. Jason Isaacs even uses the number 37 in an Instagram post when talking about practicing the choreography for the movements. But that's not all. Zal then archived even more posts, leaving only 3 on his Instagram page. The only thing in Zal's bio also happens to be the 37th emoji. In the posts are the numbers 5, 2, and 3. A lot of people on the OA subreddit deducted that this could be referring to the date, May 23rd. At midnight on May 23rd, Zal posts an ominous video of a ripple in the water. Is this the Invisible River? Zal is then posting mysterious color blocks. Some believe they stand for YCFM, which could possibly stand for the last thing the OA says to Homer as she's about to jump into our reality, which was, "You come find me." What the hell is going on here? Well, what's Brit Marling been up to on social media during all this? She's actually been on a social media break for the better part of the year so that she could write. Interesting. But what's this? Zal just made another Instagram post? Is that Brit in the photo, taking a picture through a porthole? What's this? Brit just made the exact same post, breaking her social media hiatus for the first time, and her caption has a dove emoji, which is a reoccurring symbol in the OA? What time did they post these? 10:37. 37. What the hell is going on here? Is that a 3 there on her jacket? For season 3? What the hell is going on here? Then, a while later, Zal posts all of these at once and then deleted them pretty soon after. Let's dissect it to pieces. The first photo is an extremely zoomed in freeze frame from the Netflix series You. The second photo is a cropped poster for the film Come Fly With Me. The third photo is a cropped poster for the film Finding Nemo. And the last photo is a cropped poster for the film Dial M for Murder. This all spells out, "You come find me." Come on, how fun is this? This is kind of fun. This case will remain open until there is definitive proof either way. But all signs lead me to agree with the rest of the fan base. Either the creators are intentionally messing with everyone, or the OA is returning. It's one of those two. I believe it's the latter. And I think until then, the showrunners have transformed the story into a sort of performance art for the moment, which I love. Recently, Brit and Zal have announced that they have a new series that they're working on with FX called The Retreat. I'm very excited about it. I do think that this is a completely independent project from the OA, but that doesn't mean this theory about the OA is squashed. In fact, on the same day, Brit made it clear that they will continue the story of the OA in some way, shape, or form. I know that I think I will never truly believe the show was canceled. It could be the year 2070 and I would still think it's possible that a season 3 happens. And when season 3 does inevitably come out, I will change the title of this video to I Told You the OA is Returning. Let's bring this convo into the comments and let's sort this out together. I want to hear all sides of this. Are the OA creators and Netflix pulling off a wildly ambitious marketing campaign, or is the fan base grasping at something that just isn't there anymore? And I'll end this video by saying hi to Brit and Zal because I know they lurk online and enjoy watching all of us try to solve this Rubik's Cube. You two are brilliant. You've made one of my favorite shows of all time, and I can't wait to see what you do next. And hello to the OA online community, specifically the subreddit. I spend so much of my time reading through everyone's theories, and I hope I did you guys justice by compiling all of it into this video. If you want to see more videos like this, you come find me on my YouTube channel and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
But I think we also believe that storytelling has to leave just the storyteller, and it has to enter the audience. And that happens in the OA because, like, they have to believe even in the absence of evidence, or even if evidence is against the idea of believing it. But I think then our goal, whether intentionally or unintentionally, is that the audience then also mimics that and has to sort of believe it on their own, like, instead of being
handed proof of some kind.
Yeah.